Hello and welcome to the Teslawyer show. If you're new to the show, please don't forget to subscribe and take a second to like, share, and leave a comment on this video. Today we'll be talking about Volvo's decision to drop diesel. I'm personally a big fan of Volvo. I've been for years. My mom had a 1984 740 GL, nice four-cylinder, big Volvo back in the time. Drove it in high school. Car even probably saved my life a little bit. Once I fell asleep behind the wheel and ran off the road, it kissed the guardrail. I got it back under control. Very little damage, just a little scrape down the side. But man, that really woke me up. And probably did a few other things in a Volvo that a Volvo shouldn't do. Took that thing over 100 a few times. And it's just been one of my favorite brands. I like Scandinavian design. It's clean, simple. What they've been doing with their interiors right now is world class. And when in the 90s, when they came out with the C70, that was a design that I really fell in love with. That convertible has always stuck with me, and the car I'd love to own. So recently, about a week ago, it was announced for their chief executive, Håkan Samuelsson, who said that the current generation of diesels will be their last. Diesel has been very important to Volvo. They make up about 50% of the European market, but they're going to stop production hopefully by 2023. The diesels that they currently have will not be able to make the emissions requirements, and there's probably no more efficiencies that they can make that's reasonable. As everyone knows, VW has the whole Dieselgate scandal, which is probably also part of this. Mercedes-Benz, Mitsubishi, and Chrysler has also been drug into the Dieselgate, and they're under investigation. And just recently, on May 24th, GM got a class action lawsuit filed against their 2011 to 2016 Duramax diesels in their Chevy Silverado and GMC Sierra trucks, which are probably about 700,000 vehicles. And they expect this could be worse than Dieselgate if proven to be true. But of course, GM says that their trucks meet all emission requirements as necessary. But we'll see where that leads. So what has prompted Volvo? They've given credit not only to diesels kind of becoming obsolete, but also Tesla. Tesla's got about 30% of the premium market right now between just their Model S and Model X. And that's the market that Volvo is trying to play in. Volvo has been down in sales for a while, but they've been coming up quite recently. And right now they're considered the fastest growing premium automobile manufacturer, but they were starting really low. I mean, Tesla, of course, was zero back in 2006 when they started out with the Model S. But now Volvo is up to about 18% of the market in 2016. In the US market, they sold 82,726 cars through all their various models and models. So you can see with just two brands, Tesla is beating them quite soundly. And their best market right now is China, and they sold about 90,930 vehicles, mostly the XC60 and their S60L sedans. China has been a huge market for them, and they plan on it being a huge market, which also goes towards why electrification is important. Smog in China is really bad, and they're trying to go cleaner, more green energy, doing a lot of projects. They've done the Yangtze River damming project, which does a lot of hydroelectric power, and they have put huge solar farms, created huge solar farms, but they have not been the best locations. They're further away from the population, and China just doesn't have the power grid right now to transfer that energy into the areas that are needed. But that will be improved, and they'll probably look into ways of storing and transporting this energy, or maybe just developing those areas more in the future. They do have a population. They do need to spread them out from the tighter cities. So another reason why Volvo and China has a great connection, I failed to mention that XC60 and SLs are being made in China currently. And back in 1990s, Volvo was not doing very well. They were doing even worse than recently. So Ford was trying to expand their luxury market. So they bought Land Rover, Jaguar, and also Volvo on January 27th of 1999 for $6.45 billion. Billion with a B. So Volvo was still worth quite a bit, and they thought it would be a great brand for them. But of course, we know what happened to Ford in the 2000s. The market crashed for the American car makers. They had bailouts. So part of that, they had to sell off Land Rover and Jaguar, which I think went to Tata, which is another Chinese manufacturer, and they've rebounded. And Volvo's also rebounded under Geely in 2010. That's when that happened, and since then Volvo's market share has been increasing. They've been coming out with new models. They've started making SUVs, which they hadn't in the past, which has been a big seller, especially the new XC90, which is the king of the hill right now. And now their S90 is also doing very well. Those have been remodeled, redesigned, looking just beautiful, beautiful vehicles. So unfortunately, though, this change to electric will not have any effect on Volvo commercial vehicles. There are big trucks, semis, like Tesla Semi, which is coming out, because as part of the deal with Ford, Ford only bought the car manufacturer. They did not buy the truck manufacturer. So this switch to electric will not likely have any effect on the large Volvo trucks. So that's something hopefully will happen in the future. But their plan to go electric has been expedited. Right now, the only thing they sell is a hybrid XC90, which is doing pretty well. I don't know the mix between hybrid and regular, but the XC90 is doing well. And last year, they came out with two concepts. So this is the sedan concept. It looks pretty good. It's nice and angular with a few rounded edges at the extremes, but it looks a little tall, probably like a crossover size. I think they're doing something kind of like the cross country, what they did with their wagons. But the tail end is probably the most troublesome. It looks kind of like it could be a hatchback. The other concept was an SUV form factor. I think it looks really nice, solid, nothing unusual about it. It probably is about the size of the XC60, not the largest SUV like the XC90, and probably 90% chance this one will be the first one to come out. It looks like it could be a hybrid and a full electric version, probably hedging their bets a little bit, but nothing you can complain about on this one. It looks really nice, really powerful stance, nicely squared off, even with the rounded edges. I think this one could be a definite winner. So the concepts look pretty good, and they plan to release at least one of them. They haven't told which one by 2019, with a minimum of 250 miles range. And then they're also hoping to sell within the 35 to 40,000 price range, which is hitting right where the Model 3 is going to be hitting, where we expect the new Leaf. And hopefully the Leaf will be a little lower, because I don't think they're going to be, unless they really up the interior and the design, which they're remodeling and they're going to send out in September. I don't think it's going to compete with the Model 3. And it's also the Chevy Bolt with a B. That one's also starting at around 37,000. But I mean, it's still looking like it's just a compliance car, so it's not going to be large scale. Hopefully Volvo's plans seem like they're going to be more large scale. And these cars are going to be built on their new modular electrification platform. But I think this is going to be a platform that they're going to plan on doing both their hybrids and their pure electric vehicles, as the sketch that they put, or computer model that they put out, really had a tunnel. The batteries were in the tunnel instead of a skateboard like the Teslas and even the new Bolt from Chevy. It's not a skateboard design with the flat batteries under the floor. They still use the transmission tunnel design to hold the batteries. So this would obviously be easier for them to make both the hybrids and the electric vehicles on the same platform. And they're saying by 2020 they should have more hybrids, more than just the plug-in XC90. We'll probably see a S90, and their XC60 is also a good seller, and probably the S60. I don't know if they'll get down to the C30. I think also has a plug-in hybrid. I'm not sure if that's sold in America. I think that might just be in Europe, or they're planning on developing one. So we'll see about that. So last thing, breaking news on May 25th, just heard this. Geely announced that they've bought a 49% stake in the Malaysian car manufacturer Proton. Proton really doesn't make anything exciting. They're pretty much Mitsubishi. They bought out Mitsubishi's plants and stuff, and they've been developing cars and trying to make quality cars in Southeast Asia and Malaysia area, which currently Geely does not have a lot of production in. So they're going to use that to get into the market. That's not very exciting, but the more exciting part of this is that Proton also owns part of Lotus, and Lotus is a great car company. It doesn't sell very well, but their influence in the industry is huge. They're known for making light sports cars, the Elise, the Exige. These are always thought of really high regarded drivers' cars. And also, this is also the basis for what the Tesla used to make their first Roadster. So that's going to be great. And their chassis tuning is world class. That's how they've stayed alive. They do a lot of chassis tuning for various car manufacturers. All their sports and luxury cars, a lot of people go to Lotus, and they've kind of been a behind the scenes tuner, and they do some racing, which has always been a part of their heritage. So I'm hoping that the mix of Volvo and Lotus, we might see another Roadster type vehicle planned from the ground up coming out of Lotus, which should be a really, really exciting car. So it's just good times coming. Volvo, again, I said, is one of my favorite brands, and I would love to see what they do. And if 2019, that's about the time when my lease comes up, if they do actually come out with a compelling car in the 35,000 range, I'll definitely give it a look. Probably still go with the Model 3 because that's what I like, or hopefully if something changes, maybe get a used Model S. That's still a factor. Used Model S or brand new Model 3. Family would like a Model S just because of the larger size. I would also love the Model S. Clearly, I'm not going to be hiding things. So stay tuned. It's exciting times. Electrification really is coming. Tesla has fulfilled its mandate. They are pushing the electric vehicle frontier. Cars are coming online. Mercedes-Benz is coming online. BMW is running scared. They put out a video to their people and brought them all together and told them, look, we need to really get on electrification. This is the future. They're getting their lunch eaten by Tesla. I mean, this small company came out of nowhere and now owns 30% of the market that used to be Mercedes and BMW. There's a lot more competition now with Audi and everything, but I mean, 30% is huge. It's not a large market, let me be clear, but 30%, people are taking notice. Thanks again for watching. If you liked it, please click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment so we can continue the discussion. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at Teslawyer Show for more updates. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you'd like, click on one of my other videos